All right, and we're back.
Back or here?
We're here, back into this room once again. Do we want to rock open that door, or do you want to?
No, I'm not sweating yet. Are you want to?
No,
it's
I'm
a little
good.
loud.
I'm good with it right now. But we actually have some big news before we get into the show. We got some big news, don't we?
Which big news?
Your big news.
What's that?
That you got an awesome new gig.
Got a new gig, yeah.
Are we allowed to talk about it?
Not the details yet, because
Okay.
I don't start for a couple weeks. But
So how about we do this then? Go to our inaugural cheers. Cheers to the new gig, to some
Thank
more
you.
money for Big Shawn.
and let me just warn.
I kind of fucked up. Hold on, I forgot to hit record here, so we're gonna start a little late on YouTube. But you can keep going and say
That's
what
all
you're
right.
gonna say.
I just wanted to let everybody know I'm a little bit phlegmy tonight, so I'm sorry. You're gonna hear me clear my throat as much as I can. I'll
up?
pull back.
Gotta pull out.
I got a strong pull-out game.
I was trying so hard to hold a straight face to that, but I couldn't.
So I will pull back, but bear with us. I'm human. I'm not perfect.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you finally admitted that. But no, either way, see, you're not getting sick though, right? All right, I will kick you out of this studio if you're getting sick.
No, I'm not, germ boy. You need a bubble.
You know what? I'd be totally happy with that. I would 100% be happy with that. Like, if I could do it just seasonally, just walk around in the bubble, I'd be happy with it. I can't stand people walking around just coughing. Did I tell you what happened to me when I went to that art show a couple of weeks ago?
No, you
Son
told
of
me.
a bitch, I almost punched an old man in the face. I was walking easterly down the Ave, and obviously it's crowded, so it's like tight spaces, like you're walking the street.
At Delray.
There was an
the
art show, whatever it was going on, whatever the fuck they
art
call
affair
it.
or
Something like that.
Something like that.
So as I'm walking, this guy's walking towards me, and I kid you not, he had to be about 2 feet away from my face as we're walking towards each other, and just coughed, loud as fucking can be, into my face. And I just stopped. Everybody stopped because they saw my shock. I'm like, are you fucking serious? And he just looked at me like I was being offensive. He coughed flat out in my fucking face. And everyone just started looking at me. They laughed because of like my reaction. Like, you got to be fucking kidding me, man. Like,
Well, you are a germaphobe, and most people have just been like, oh, I'm walking this way.
no. Most people would not have, I'm walking this way. If someone comes up to you and coughed in your face, you'd be like, what's up, bro? You want to roll?
Yes, in the face.
Yeah, right. You'd be fucking super livid. I was so pissed off. I'm like, I gotta go. I can't be here. I was so fucking pissed off. Just no manners
Should
whatsoever.
have Frenched him.
Well, he might as well have Frenched me.
That's what I'm saying. You should have just Frenched him and say, how do you like it?
I mean, are you gonna give me a quick tug, or is this just
Give him a Frencher.
blow and go here, bud? What are we doing here? I was so pissed. So you got the new gig. I hate being sick, but I found out something new tonight. Oh, shit. Besides throwing stuff all over the place. So, I made a mistake and bought some Pocky. I fell for the, what's it called when they have it right in your face at the checkout?
Yeah, I can't remember what it's
Yeah, well, impulse.
Impulse buys.
Yeah, so I made an impulse buy because they had cookies and cream Pocky at the cash register. So I'm like, I'll save some for Shawn. He'll love Pocky. Only to come and find out that you've never fucking had Pocky before.
I've never had Pocky.
You've never had Pocky.
Though I
ever.
do want to go to Japan. I've never
I do
had
too.
Pocky.
So for those of you that don't know what Pocky is, they're like these stick cookies that are dipped in chocolate. The one that I picked up here is a cookies and cream one that I actually tried for the first time a couple of months ago when I went to the Murakami. But this is fucking delicious. So this isn't the original Pocky. So
What's the original Pocky?
the original Pocky is just like the cookie stick with chocolate. It's just dipped in chocolate. It's super basic, but it's so good. So we're actually going to do this live on the podcast, and hopefully Shawn doesn't chew too loud into the microphone. But
Well, I think I should chew loud into
you're
the
going to have
microphone.
your first Pocky stick. So
Pop one out. Huh?
go ahead. It kind of looks like
right.
cigarettes, right? When it pops
Well,
out.
it kind of looks like a pretzel or just a regular
Right.
stick.
Think of it. It's like a dipped pretzel. So cheers.
Okay, cheers.
To your first Pocky. Don't mind us chewing. Don't do that. Stop. That's disgusting. That drives me nuts. Stop. Not bad, right?
Not bad, but
It's not something to write home about. But
I think in order
stop. That's that ASM shit that people are into now.
I think you guys need to try Pocky.
Yeah. See? Yeah.
Anybody have an orgasm?
All right. Definitely nobody.
I think in order to really get the Pocky experience, you can't eat one at once. It's like you got to eat like 4 at a time. There's the difference between Japanese and American.
You got to be classy.
Should have smoked it like a candy cigarette.
Remember those Lucky Strike cigarettes?
No.
The candy cigarettes?
Well, I remember candy cigarettes.
Those were the shit back in the day.
Like I can still taste a candy cigarette. It's like
It's
chalky, but like sweet chalky.
There was like a hint of sugar just to make enough to make you come back. So for all the young bloods out there that had never seen this, back in the day, probably I would say until like the mid 90s, right? They used to have basically candy cigarettes. And it looked like an old school packet of Lucky Strike cigarettes, which is, again, old thing that most people aren't going to remember. A little white box of cigarettes. And you open it up, and inside, it would basically look like chalk.
Yeah.
It was just chalk.
With little red ends.
See, now they stopped making it with the red ends, and then they just went to the white stick.
Oh, well, see, I'm even old school.
You went, like, back when John Wayne was still alive. But it was a candy cigarette. And if you got it right out of the box, they made it so it was powdery, so it looked like smoke would come out. That was like their little gimmick. So kids would come up there and pretend they were smoking cigarettes, like their favorite cowboy in a movie or like character in a movie. For sure, that must have gotten a lot of kids smoking.
So that's how you know you're old, is you're talking about cowboys. Kids these days do not find cowboys cool.
That's not true.
Give me a cool cowboy within the last 20 years.
Hidalgo? Didn't they make the movie Hidalgo?
Yeah, but that really wasn't a cowboy. That was just a horse race.
Yeah, but he was a cowboy.
Yeah, but it wasn't cool.
And then, what about Shanghai Knights? What was it?
Terrible.
But
the only thing I could maybe go with would be Jeff Bridges as Rooster Cogburn in...
they redid The Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, but it wasn't cool.
It wasn't good. For sure. I mean, you could throw Denzel Washington in.
You know what The Magnificent Seven is?
It's the remake of Seven Samurai. You're not going to get me on that one, buddy. That's funny enough that you mentioned it. I was actually talking to our buddy from Draft Choke the other day, and he's like, oh, check out this fight. I'm like, sorry, I can't. I'm like balls deep in watching. Like, I watched maybe 15 different Miyamoto Musashi documentaries on YouTube.
You went down the hole?
I went down like a hole, man, and I started watching like all these different documentaries about samurais and like Musashi and all these other people. Man, it was a weird fucking story. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't know about his life. Like
he was one of the most prolific like movie makers of all time. Like,
no, you're thinking about Akira Toriyama, Kurosawa.
Oh yeah, Kurosawa.
Musashi is the Book of Rings. Yeah.
The actual samurai that like. Did you know there's a lake that has a statue of him in Japan.
Yeah.
And apparently he killed a guy.
Yeah.
Using an oar.
Yeah. So like he beat that's what I'm saying. I watched all these things. So he challenged like somebody from like this like school or whatever, like this rival gang school, whatever it was, killed him, and all his students like came after him. So he like the story's funny as shit, but yeah, he fought this guy with this oar and then beat him to death with this oar in front of everybody. So then they chased him. So he got on a boat and like dropped everything, just got on a boat and paddled away so they couldn't come after him.
Yeah, basically what I heard is Musashi was extremely gifted, but he wasn't really living the Bushido way.
No, so his whole thing was...
He was kind of a gunslinger.
He was a dick. What it is. Yeah.
Right. He was super cocky.
Right, well, he was super cocky. There's like, the whole story is like about how he like rebelled against his dad, and his dad wanted him to have like a very like martial artist like mind frame, and he's like, no, I just want to fuck people up kind of thing. And then like he challenged, when he was like 15 or something like that, he challenged this really I guess well-known swordsman. The guy had posted up like a poster like, I'll fight anybody here, like I want the best person. So he went and he challenged him, and his dad's
like no. What was that Jet Li movie where they fought up on the
The table?
it wasn't a table, but it was
On the scaffolding?
The scaffolding.
It wasn't the one. It was, I think it was Legend. It was Legend.
It might have been Legend, yeah.
But
that's how that kind of was. Is like it was people from all around would fight there.
right. So now he went and he saw this poster when he was a kid. So he was like the rest of us. You're like 15 years old. You're all full of like hormones. You like fuck the world kind of thing. So he went and he challenged him. His dad found out about it, and like the next morning when the challenge was supposed to happen, like his dad came in and was like begging the guy, please forgive him. He's just a dumb kid. Like he didn't know what he was doing. I'm so sorry. Please don't. And Musashi's like, fuck you, out of my fucking way. Like pushes him off the side, goes and just whack, kills the guy in like one blow. Just like amazing like swordsman. He just went and just fucking rocked his world. Just killed him right there and there. Like just beat the shit out of him. Walked away. And then he kind of went off on his story that way. And people were like, this guy is like an amazing, like swordsman, whatever. He just got his ass whooped by a 15-year-old. And he became famous for being really prolific with two swords. So that was his style.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I went deep into this whole, and like later on in his life, he had like an adopted son. And I guess that guy died. And then he adopted another kid. I guess he like kind of mellowed out in the later years, sort of thing.
Like
so
we all do.
I guess. But yeah, it's a really crazy story. Like once you really, really get into it. Granted, we have the whole aura kind of like a mysticism about him. But once, like anybody else, once you really get into the story, like you're a bit of a dick.
Yeah, you should be living as a trained swordsman. You should be living, in Japan, in feudal Japan. You live the Bushido way. It's honor and I guess reputation a little bit, but not like boastful reputation.
Yeah.
And he was like a rock star.
Well, it wasn't that he was a rock star. It was that he was. I would make him equivalent to his.
He's Billy the Kid.
Yeah, he was like Michael Jordan, Billy the Kid, like put together. He's like it wasn't about the show or this, that, and the other. It was like he wanted to be the best and he wanted to fight the best. So it's a cool story. It's definitely fun to check it out and kind of go deep into it. I mean, I'm all about that stuff. And then I got into like kendo, and that. Like, do you ever follow kendo?
No.
You ever really looked into it?
No.
So they have obviously like karate and stuff. They have dans, whatever you want to call it. So they go up to like 8th Dan, and like to be like an 8th Dan is like the equivalent of a coral belt for jiu-jitsu.
I wonder how much time it takes you to get to 8th Dan.
So I think it's the same amount of time, if I can recall correctly. It's something like 60 years. And the test that they test like once a year, and like thousands of people show up. And the percentage of people that test and actually pass is like something like 0.05. So they'll have literally 5,000 people that show up to this arena to test in front of like all the other like 8th Dan guys. And out of all that, 3 people pass. How nutty is that?
To get to what?
To get to 8th Dan. Like you have to test for it.
So like there's 7th Dans.
Yeah,
there's
like
a shit ton of 7th Dans.
Yeah. So to get to the 8th Dan, like you have to go.
I thought
through
it
this
was
whole
just
thing.
to get promoted.
Well, yeah, to get promoted to 8th Dan.
I mean,
in
like,
general.
Like
no.
from white belt to blue belt.
Yeah, no, they have like everybody's like a white belt, then it's like automatically 1st Dan, 2nd Dan, 3rd Dan. So they're like you become like a 1st Dan black belt. But to become an 8th Dan black belt, whatever you want to call it, it's like 60-something years, and you have to test, and it's like 0 mistakes. And to watch how they analyze what you do, something as simple as the way that they point their foot. So it's super crazy. So for example, think of like how we do like a takedown, right? If you're down, you're low, you're facing the person. But or let's look at it like kickboxing and boxing. If you're standing in a boxing stance, your back foot is open almost like 90 degrees. So it'll be like 45, 90 degrees. If you're doing Muay Thai, like kickboxing, they're both pretty much pointing forward or maybe like 20 degrees, right? Same thing. So if you're standing holding the sword, your lead foot is forward, but your back foot has to be heel off and the toes have to be pointing towards the person.
Well, there are some techniques where both toes are pointed
wide.
out.
Well, I mean, it just depends on what you're trying to do. But in a fighting stance, when you're first drawing, you're there, like, yeah, you're facing in and like just the back foot. And then once you see it and you pay attention to it, like you see how much of a difference it really does make. But yeah, I went into it pretty deep when it comes to like the samurai and swordsman stuff the other day. And if anybody wants to watch some really, really good movies, obviously like the original Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa, right? It's Kurosawa. And there's a couple other ones, but if you want to watch an awesome story,
Wolf and Cub,
right?
What did that get? The name was changed for the movie. Shogun Assassin.
Yeah, Shogun Assassin. That's a good one, but
that was Lone Wolf and Cub.
Which
is a old Japanese story where it's a Ronin with a child,
apprentice or kid.
No, it was his child.
So that's kind of like the same as the one that I watched a couple of weeks ago that I was talking about, like Immortal Blade. But if you want to watch a good one, watch the original Zatoichi movies. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Zatoichi, the blind swordsman. You gotta watch it. So it's this guy. He's a blind swordsman. He's walking around. You can't see him, and then like he just fucks everybody up.
Like Kane.
Yeah, he's like, right. So
he's like Kane from Kung Fu, but
right,
can't see, and he uses a sword.
Right, but like his sword is actually like his cane. So he walks around. People are like, oh, it's just a blind guy. Let's rob him. And then he just hears him coming from a mile away and just.
Rutger Hauer made a movie in the late '80s, early '90s, where he was blind. And he was a swordsman. There was a sword in his cane, and he used hearing, like he could.
It was a ripoff.
Yeah,
it's the same basic story, but the original ones in black and white are really good, and they made a couple of remakes.
But it was modern times.
Yeah, it's the same basic idea. They just made it modernized. But no, if you watch,
it was a good movie. I like that movie.
That's the same with like
I think it was like Blind Justice or something like that. Obviously,
we can look it up later. But yeah, if you want to watch some like really good original martial arts movies, again, you're gonna have to find the subtitle ones. But Seven Samurai, the original Zatoichi movies, they're really good. All right, enough with that. I actually do have some good jiu-jitsu news to go over today. You ready for this? Or do you have like one of those
No. Go ahead.
I learned something today. So, I hate to start it off with bad news, but excuse me. The upcoming match between Gordon Ryan and Fabricio Werdum has been canceled.
Yep, I'm not surprised because I watched the Kasai.
And actually, funny you mentioned that. Yeah, so Gordon Ryan injured himself in the Kasai grappling match this past weekend that he did win by 1 point. He posted a photo of himself on his Instagram going through an MRI machine, and he writes, "Hey friends, unfortunately during the last match I badly strained my bicep femoris tendon, and completely tore my LCL. This will take me."
It was a
tear.
A tear.
Yeah.
He said he hurt it.
Yeah, but I mean, LCL you can survive and you can kind of move. You just can't really do lateral movements.
It was Blind Fury, by the way.
Blind Fury, nice, good call. This will take me out of competition for a bit. Need to see whether or not surgery is the best option. Thanks everyone for the messages, and I'll be back ASAP. Nothing can stop us. So, that's funny. Now he has the Royal Guards. He calls his people #Royal Guards, his fans. It's kind of cool. That's funny.
Yeah, I like it.
So, it sucks for Gordon Ryan because I was really looking forward to seeing that match in
I was looking forward to the
ADCC.
Smack Talk.
Yeah, the Smack Talk. Just Smack Talk. Yeah, Smack Talk. I said Smack Talk by accident.
Yeah.
Man.
Listen to you, Freudian slip.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. I can't even, I fucked it up. Sorry. So, yeah, that sucks. That was supposed to be, I forget, was it the quintet? No, it was that he was supposed to fight.
I don't remember the...
No, it was the combat jiu-jitsu match. That's what it was. It was supposed to be a combat jiu-jitsu match.
But I don't know for who it was going to be for.
I
watched the match, and it actually happened on one of his entries.
Yeah.
And he could no longer... It was basically, his right leg became dead. He could do no more elevations.
Yeah.
That was it.
It sucks, man. I mean, I can't say
He still won the match.
Still won the match, and going for a heel hook. It's because he went for the heel hook. He got a point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. It sucks. But if you want to know the results for Kasai, I can spit them out for you. I actually didn't get a chance to watch it, so I have it on my list of things to watch this week. So
There was a controversy between Mateus Lutis and what's the other guy's name? Can you see that?
Dante Leon.
Dante Leon. So at one point, at the end of the match, they were about to fall off the podium or fall off the mat because Kasai does a raised mat. It's like 3 feet up or something like that. I don't know. And they're by the edge, so the referee put their hands on them. And Dante Leon was on Mateus Lutis's back. And Lutis is like looking at the ref, like he's like stopping. He's got his hands out like this because he thinks the ref stopped him. And he's like this, and Dante Leon just went and sunk in the rear naked.
Oh shit!
And dude, and Lutis had to tap. It was weird. It was a weird series. I remember thinking, well, the ref stopped him, but like the ref didn't really stop him. He just put his hands on him so they didn't fall off, I guess. But you know, in most BJJ matches, the ref puts his hands on you.
You stop.
You stop.
Well, yeah, but the ref should still be saying you need to stop. Like, you know, because I mean, think about it. If someone, especially and it happened at Fight to Win. When Carlos was cornering someone, he knows that a couple of people always play the edges to try and get that advantage. And he knows to stand there, and he'll have them up. But he'll warn people, like, you're getting close to the line, getting close to the line. But he'll never put his hands on someone without telling them something.
Probably paro.
Yeah. So, I guess I'll save...
If you are into Jiu-Jitsu, there are a few words that you need to know in Portuguese if you're going to compete. Combate, luch, paro. Those 3 words will get you through a jiu-jitsu match.
Yeah, you'd be pretty solid if you know those. So that's it. I'm not going to spit out the results for Kasai. If there's people like me that didn't get to watch it and they're going to watch it later on, you're welcome.
There was there was
Would you stop spoiling the matches for people?
Look,
I didn't get to watch it.
You're watching. You're looking at the fucking results.
I'm not. I'm looking at a photo of them, but I'm not focusing on what the results are.
Tom
DeBlas.
Lost.
And, yeah, I know. I just threaded things.
No, I know, but Bruno
Bastos,
and it was basically a stalemate match of the whole. It was very similar to Gordon Ryan or Nick Jones or
Craig Jones
and Paul Harris.
Oh yeah.
That basically Tom was in half guard the whole time, and Bruno was on top, and I guess and the reason he won was he got the sneaky trip takedown. It was awesome.
Yeah.
But that was it, man.
I gotta watch it, so I'll definitely be watching it. Speaking of tournaments, we finally got an announcement for the next Polaris on March 15th at the Indigo at the O2 in the UK, which, again, sucks that I don't get to go. But they've only announced 2 fights. Did you see?
No, I did not see.
So the first fight that they announced was Jazari Matuda versus Fionn Davies, which will be a good match. That'll be a tough match for the under 55 title match, which finally, after all the amount of times that Jazari has competed on there, she's getting to fight for the title. I think it'll be probably within a 5-minute match. I think Jazari will take the title on that one, and not being disrespectful to Fionn at all, but that's just the way that I see it. And then the other match that they announced was Vagner Rocha versus Ross Nichols, which is pretty cool to see Vagner go back-to-back like that. They really liked how he competed. and it's going to be for the #1 contender match
I
in the
wonder if
welterweight.
Polaris will call you to take some video.
I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully, it'd be cool. It'd be fun to do. I mean,
Didn't you do the last time they were?
yeah. I mean, every time they've had somebody from down here, for the most part, I've gotten to film them, like whether it was Gilbert or Jazari. Obviously, Vagner. We did the last one, so it'd be cool to see. I haven't seen Jazari in a while, so it'd be cool. But if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. I never get offended with that kind of stuff. It's just what happens with the companies. Got to do what they got to do. What I do know is that there's people that have been trying to gun and to take my spot, and I've been catching somebody following me and seeing who I'm working with, and then they try and reach out and contact them to try and undercut me. How scummy is that? Yeah, I'll tell you who it is after. It's someone that you know.
Somebody that I know?
Yeah, I'll tell you who it is afterwards. But yeah, it was
Really?
a super scummy move, bro. Yeah.
Did they ask what they're... How do you know they're trying to undercut you?
I'll tell you later. But
Ooh,
yeah.
I say name names.
No, I'm not going to do that here because it involves my work too, so I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
If it was something that I wasn't directly correlated or connected with, I wouldn't, but I'm not going to. Other big news for the week. While you're done texting, can you put the phone down?
Stuff up.
What are you looking up?
Polaris?
What are you going to look up? I just told you everything that there is.
No, I want to look up.
What?
Maybe there's photographers.
No, you don't. That you're not going to find. But anyway, so the next big news, and it's actually pretty big news for the sport of jiu-jitsu, Narcos director Jose Padilla is going to be tackling the movie Dead or Alive, which is based on the story of Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's big news in the jiu-jitsu world. Like
for sure.
How many kung fu, karate, samurai, ninja movies have we watched?
In the last year alone, let alone like 20.
Oh, you know it's a rad fucking movie? Ninja Assassin. Came out like 2012 or something like that.
Yeah.
2011.
That's a good movie.
With Rain. His name was Rain.
You know who played the most unlikely ninja ever?
Michael Dudikoff?
Nope. Lee Van Cleef.
Oh, yeah, but what was it?
It was like an 80s thing. He was like 80 years old, and he was playing a ninja.
Yeah, but he wasn't a ninja. He was like the ninja.
He was a bad ninja, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Ninja.
Yeah.
It was Sho Kasugi.
Yeah.
That was the... I don't know how I can pull that name out of my ass, but the actor's name was Sho Kasugi, and he was Ninja. It was like a Ninja 1, Ninja 2.
Yeah. But it's funny, like, I just remember that. But anyway, before you get into that, let me go ahead and read you this article. This is basically the press release that came out. For those of you that don't know, like you were saying, though, it's pretty big for us, like, jiu-jitsu fans, because this is going to be the very first official, full-blown jiu-jitsu-oriented movie. There's actually...
Red Belt.
Right. Well, and actually...
Did you see Red Belt?
No.
Well, the dude that had a red belt was like 35 years old.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
So, like, that's when you go, nope.
Yeah, someone didn't do their research. And it's funny because there's actually one of our listeners reached out to me, and he filmed a jiu-jitsu movie, and I believe, Lion Killer. So if you guys want to check out, show the support, Derek Fury, and him and I have been kind of talking back and forth the last couple of weeks. I want to get him on the podcast. He's actually going to showcase the trailer for the movie with us once it's done. So we'll be one of the first ones to have it. But look up Lion Killer Film on Instagram. Shout out to Derek Fury. That's going to be a jiu-jitsu movie. That's more of like a story movie instead of like a documentary story movie.
Let me tell you something. I don't like Derek Fury right off the bat.
Why?
Because he's got a rad last name.
Right? That's like his actual name.
No, so. I know. That's what I'm saying. That's his. I'm sure that's like Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Fury is such a rad last name to have.
It's such an 80s name.
Yeah.
It's like Max Powers.
What was the Johnny...
Hammersticks?
Oh, no, it was Johnny Cage.
Johnny Hammersticks?
No, I was thinking Johnny Cage from Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
But Fury is just like...
No one's gonna fuck with you with that last name.
And like if I had my last name was Fury, I would probably be Fists of Fury on Instagram.
Fists of Fury.
Or,
Grips of Fury.
Grips of Fury, that'd be a
That'd
good
be cool,
one.
right?
Yeah, especially for jiu-jitsu.
You're welcome.
So, Derek Fury, I'm jealous of you.
Yeah.
Just because of your name. I don't know you
I don't know you. Well, we'll get to meet him once he gets on the podcast. All right, let me get into this article. So this is pretty much the press release that they sent out. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu will get its origin story told by Jose Padilla, the filmmaker behind the police thriller Elite Squad and Netflix's crime drama Narcos. Padilla will direct Dead or Alive, which is being made by Netflix, and will write the script with Peter Maguire. Padilla will also produce the period feature with Greg Silverman and his Stampede banner, whatever the fuck that means.
So it's going to take place in the 20s.
So, actually, Dead or Alive centers on two men, Mitsuyo Maeda and Rickson Gracie, as the story tells an epic tale that stretches from the 1800s era Japan to present-day U.S. In Japan, as it focuses on two men from vastly different worlds who developed and spread a mixed martial art that became known as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It gets into a little bit of the story of Maeda and Gracie and blah, blah, blah. This is a film with universal appeal with remarkable real-life characters, Silverman said in a statement. Rickson Gracie is one of the greatest fighters of all time, and we're honored to share his story.
I wonder who's going to play Rickson.
Probably old Rickson will be Rickson.
Can't be Rickson.
Why?
I
I think he can do Rickson from the 90s to today. He's not going to be able to do his young Rickson.
No, dude. Have you seen him?
He looks pretty old.
He looks pretty old.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't look like 90s Rickson. You know, he looks like weathered.
Like 2019 Rickson.
He looks like 2019 Rickson.
All right.
You know, so it's like, and look.
You know what's actually going to be cool is to see who's going to play a young Chuck Norris in the movie, because Chuck Norris plays a part in the movie. You're going to have a Chuck Norris if you're going to tell the story of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the U.S.
Well, do you have to have Chuck Norris?
Yeah.
Why?
Chuck Norris is the reason why there's Jiu-Jitsu in the United States. Chuck Norris brought the Gracies into the U.S. and introduced them into California.
I don't think it was Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, my man. Check it out. That's part of the story that you don't really know that much.
I know the story. I mean,
Yeah.
I know the history.
Yeah, well, it's with the Machados and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, Chuck Norris is who brought them in and told them, like, you need to come over here, and got their foot in the door into California.
Got their foot in what?
Into, like, getting their school set up and
They
getting...
were
Like,
started out of a garage.
all right, man, don't believe me. Do your own
I'm not
research.
going to believe you. I
All
think
right.
you're full of shit.
Look it up. Look it up, but that's going to be a pretty cool story. It'll be on Netflix, so that means I'm going to have to steal your Netflix account. Because I'm not paying for Netflix again. Fuck it. I switched to Hulu. I'm happy with
That's
it.
crazy. That's
Dude, I got
crazy
tired.
talk.
Like, Netflix would have, like, a good movie for, like, 2 weeks and then get rid of it.
Dude, I started the second season of Punisher.
Oh, the one that they canceled, you mean?
They didn't cancel it.
They canceled it.
Yeah, but do you know why?
Why?
Because
Nobody was watching.
No, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with they're taking all Marvel's stuff is all coming off.
Oh, because Disney has their own...
Disney's going to start their own channel, so everything Marvel is going to be under Disney.
Speaking of which, side note, I watched Glass over the weekend.
Is that awesome?
It's like every M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Shamalama Ding Dong.
Yeah, is that it's awesome, bullshit twist, and then the end crashes.
This one didn't have it.
It had a bullshit
No,
twist. It was a bullshit twist.
What was the bullshit twist?
When he, well, I'm not going to throw the spoilers
No,
out.
fuck people. We do spoilers here. If you don't want to hear this, fast forward
When, like,
10 seconds.
I could see it from, like, a mile away that lady was part of something. Like, that she was part of, like, an underground, like, whole situation. Okay, this is a total spoiler, like, warning for everybody.
I did not see that coming.
I saw it a fucking mile away. And then when it got into the whole point where they're, like, the SWAT team and stuff comes out, and it's, like, they're part of the underground thing, too. This is what I think is bullshit. All right? I think, though, that there was a lot of cool little nods to other movies in the whole thing. They definitely had a nod to DC and Marvel at one point, if you saw it.
Well, they have to. That's comic books.
Right, but they made it very subtle, so I give them credit for that. But Osaka Tower is a total nod
Of Nakatomi?
Nakatomi Tower, which I thought was hilarious. I'm like, how cool of a twist would it fucking be that they do go fight over there and he ends up just turning into the Die Hard movie? But that would have been really stretching it. But when he's fucking drowning in a little puddle It was very bad filmmaking at the end.
Well, no, that makes sense. Remember, water weakened him.
Right, but the fact that he was already drowning in a puddle in the grass, and then they grab him and put him face down in a puddle.
Because he didn't have any strength. He was weak.
But he's already in a puddle. You don't need to drag him from one puddle to another.
He really wasn't in a puddle. He was in the grass.
In a puddle in the grass.
And not enough to drown him.
And then they drag him over to this other puddle, and the girl, like the lady, lays down. It's like, grab my hand. Let me go ahead and summarize the whole story while you drown. Okay, movie's over. Bye. Like, come on, man. That's just bullshit. That's shitty writing. That's shitty writing.
I don't know. M. Night Shyamalan, like, it's like hit or miss with him.
That's a lot of misses lately.
Well, yeah.
The last 15 years of misses.
Sixth Sense.
He tanked after that.
Oh, no. That was like his first one. After that came...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No.
Signs I loved when I saw it in the movie theater, and then when I saw it at home, I was like, oh, this sucks.
The Happening was terrible.
I didn't watch it.
The Village.
Didn't watch it. Wasn't The Happening the one about the trees?
Yeah, well, just the plants putting out a pheromone.
Yeah, fuck all that. Let's go back to...
But let's get back to Glass.
Okay.
Because I did see your post, and it's true. James McAvoy.
Oh, it's fucking amazing.
And like when he at that one point when they kept flashing the lights and he kept switching. Holy shit!
But not even that's not the part that totally floored it for me is when he's like dying at the end and he's changing like on cue right there, no cuts. The part with the lights and stuff, that's easy to kind of cut it and like retake it.
Right.
But to go from in and out from character when he's dying, like. So that's 12 different characters that you have to create complete.
Way more than 12.
Yeah. Like, no. Like, if you want to go watch the movie, even just for James McAvoy, like, he made the whole movie. I like
him when he plays the kid, the little boy.
The little, like, hip-hop kid. Like, you guys serious? No. It was awesome. Go check it out. I don't want to give out any more spoilers, but, yeah, he fucking made the movie for me, for sure. Like, that movie should have been just 100% on him. And he was jacked for it, too. He's pretty jacked for that.
Yeah, he got in good shape for it.
Yeah. Back to some jiu-jitsu. I think this is the last one that I got for you. No, two things. The 2019 ADCC West Trials are this coming weekend. Nicky Ryan's going to compete, so it'll be cool to see Nicky Ryan competing for ADCC Trials. So he's going to be.
Well, let's talk about Nicky Ryan for a moment.
Why? What do you got to say about the man?
About the man?
Yeah. About the man-child?
The man-child? What kind of a world do we live in?
That a 15, 16-year-old kid can
quit school and train jiu-jitsu full-time.
Right.
What are his parents thinking? Would you let your child quit school at 15 and train full-time?
Well, they're homeschooled. And if you read Gordon Ryan the other day posted up basically his life story. Did you get a chance to read that?
Mm-mm.
He's got an amazing story for those that don't know, where if I'm going to completely paraphrase this and I'm sure I'm butchering it. When he was a kid, his parents went pretty much half and half on a house with his grandparents, and they took, like, his parents took their entire life savings and put it into this house and made this amazing house. And then after a couple of years, his grandparents decided to be dicks and they got into some legal dispute, and the parents didn't put their names on the lease, so the grandparents booted the parents out and sent them out on the street. So they were living on the street
with the boys?
With the boys. So they went from like working their ass off their whole life to like putting all their money into this house to getting kicked out of the house to having nothing. And he used to have to like work like crazy hours just to go and do like a couple of weeks of training and then go back and like work again to save up money to go back into doing training. So he wasn't training like full time. This is Gordon now.
Gordon, right.
So he busted his ass, worked his ass off, and got to a point where he was financially stable enough to then be able to go train full time. So everything he has is work for it. So like for Nicky, I'm sure a lot of it has to be with like the parents. Like, and he says like, I didn't grow up in like a super tough childhood, but I didn't have it super easy. He didn't have some amazing like privilege or whatever. So for the parents to sit there and say you're homeschooled now and you can do what you want, I mean, I'm not surprised. And a lot of parents who support kids athletes are the same way. Same thing happened with Shawn White. any kid that's like in the Olympics, parents do the same thing. They'll take them out and then they'll put them in the homeschooling and let them train. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, we just have to be jealous, and that's all we get to do. You know. So
Yeah, well, it is jealousy, but would you let your child do that? That's the question.
granted, I'm nowhere near ever being a parent, so I'm not the best.
I understand that. If you had a child,
If I had,
and he showed promise,
I would make it so it's an option that you get. It's like if you can show me that you can handle responsibilities of being homeschooled, being intelligent, and going to train full time. Obviously, depending on the cost, what it is too, you got to be financially stable. So it's like, okay, you want to do that? Well, you're gonna have to do all the studying, all the homework, and like be intelligent enough to handle all that. Get a job too, then, because you need to have a skill at one point or another. You're not like you can't just sit there and depend on it, and then you can go train. You're gonna have to, because let's say, same thing with
one injury in jiu-jitsu can end your jiu-jitsu
for sure.
Depending on
At 16.
Yeah.
At 16, imagine wrecking your knees.
Well, the knees are fixable. Elbows, shoulders, hips are all fixable. Back stuff,
yeah.
neck stuff, that's the kind of shit
That you have to fight through the rest of your life.
Right.
But it's, again, knowing the little bit of that family history shows okay, well, the parents then understand the concept of live your life to the fullest and get what you can out of it. So for me, and kind of having my own I guess weird childhood that I had, I can easily say if my son showed promise and true dedication, or daughter, whoever, showed true dedication, then 100% I would sit there and say, go for it, do it. We'll see how honest you really are, and then we'll go from there. Because I kind of wanted to do the same thing.
Because Mikey and Tammy had a similar situation.
Yeah.
But Mikey was work release from high school. Mm-hmm. It wasn't total free for all. He would go to school in the morning, and then his work release, his job was jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So, which is amazing. Imagine,
it's mind-blowing.
It's mind-blowing.
But again, I mean, you've met his parents. They're super cool.
Super awesome people.
So I think the way that we are in this world now, it's a lot easier to sit there and say you're homeschooled, you get your education at home. Let's be honest. I had this argument a couple of months ago. School as we know it in the facilities that we have today is antiquated. And it's not going to be something that is going to last long. So, you want some more air?
Yeah.
That's fine. Because you're not going to need teachers. You're going to have online schools, which I don't understand why we don't have more now anyway. You're going to have online schools. You get all your education from the internet. Why the fuck do I need to pay $80,000, $60,000 to a teacher when I can sit there and say, okay, well, have your own school online. Charge kids to have a private school online. Get your education there. You're going to get more from that anyway. And if you have a kid that needs extra attention, well, then that's a whole different thing altogether. Then you can go to a specialized school.
I think the problem with an online school, same thing with online jiu-jitsu schools. The problem is there's no accountability.
No, that's not true. Because the way that I see it, it's the same way how you and I can work remotely. You have all the tools that you need. You get the shit done, and that's it.
No, there's a different. Here's the difference, though. I'm being tested. If I'm being tested on this computer, what's to stop me from having another computer over here looking up the answers on Google as I'm going?
But when you sit there and do work, right? And this was one of my biggest eye openers when I was in college, when I was taking a legal music class, right? And remember, you're going through high school, you have to memorize fucking everything. You got to memorize every fucking little thing. And I got really good short-term memory, so I could skate by from it. But then I got to college, and the hardest course that I had was my music, legal class, right? It was all my music law classes. So I had to learn about contracts. I had to learn about copyright laws, all that stuff. And my teacher, is a professional lawyer. He works with literally the biggest names in the music industry. He's their lawyer. And he says, no, I do my books open, or my tests open book. There's no reason to fucking memorize shit. Like, you memorize it, you learn it, you're going to know it. But I'm a lawyer. Even I get to go back and read everything. I just come prepared. When you get into court, even on your court, you're like, oh, you have it written down, you're going to read it. Like, I'm going to know it anyway. But no, it's open book test. Like, why the fuck have I been memorizing everything then? Let me learn it. Learning it and memorizing it are two different things.
Right. Well, here's the thing, though. Memorizing it can be learning it.
Exactly.
And there's something to knowing something and something to being able to find something. Because you don't always have the internet and you don't always have tools to use.
Correct. But to put yourself under a stress where you need to know at this exact second when you just learned something is not the same as, okay, we're going to be talking about this. Open your book. You read it, you read it. You test it. You go back like in the middle of the test. Okay, I need to know this stuff. Fine. But you're probably going to learn it faster that way than I'm just going to memorize it and move on. Right? At least for me. So I don't disagree with you that it's not going to be completely wiped out. But it's just the way that technology is. How much money do you have to waste every day on gas to drive kids to school? Whether it's the parents driving the kids to school, kids driving themselves, or taking a school bus. Billions of dollars every year. To sit there and have a bunch of like staff, right?
Right. But at the same time, the socialization part of school is
a big part.
And it's
important.
important.
I agree with that part for sure. That's the caveat to my idea. But it hasn't stopped progression on everything else. How many businesses do we know that the people have never met? Listen, my company, I had a client for 2 years. Not once did I ever see anybody face to face. Not a FaceTime call, no nothing. It was everything on the phone.
I'd never met one of my clients. I never even had a phone call with these clients.
Yeah.
My whole thing was everything that I did was email.
How's that any different?
And do you remember a couple years ago people were saying, "Oh yeah, email is going to go away."
Yeah.
Email's going the way of the dodo. I don't think email will ever go away. Because
you know what's going to go the way of the dodo? Fucking U.S. Postal Service.
I don't think so.
For sure.
No.
A bunch of inept fucktards.
Dude, do you know that the U.S. Postal Service has been profitable? It's a profitable business.
Yeah. That's why they scam you.
So I don't think that's going to ever go away.
But that's kind of like, I think that school as we know it today is not going to be lasting around another 10, 15 years. It'll be faded out, but within the next 20 years, school is only going to be for the special cases of people that need to have that either that one-on-one interaction. Why? Because we're too worried about kids getting injured. We're too worried about kids being molested by teachers. There's a teacher the other day just in Oakland Park that got busted.
Nice.
Fucking scumbag.
Nice.
No, it was a guy trying to molest like a girl.
Oh, that's terrible, but
yeah.
As South Park.
Yeah.
Like
nice.
What's crazy is there were rumors of that in high school, but it was
nobody ever right.
None of the teachers, like the teachers nowadays, the ones that get busted, I'd say 80 to 90% of them are pretty hot.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it still happened. Look, I'll be honest. I had a smoking hot Spanish teacher in middle school. And if it was one of those scenarios where she's like, hey, why don't you stay afterwards in class and all that happened, I'm not going to lie to you. I probably would have not told a single person that would have been a happy camper.
That's the problem nowadays. These kids would this would be fine, but they tell their friends.
Yeah, people don't know about keeping their mouth shut.
They're too, it's a maturity thing.
Yeah.
That's like...
They're kids,
and it's not so much.
It's still fucked up. It's still wrong.
But say this. But here's what the issue is, and I'm not saying it's right, but it's less wrong in my eyes. A male, 16, 17-year-old with a female.
Teacher. Yeah, but they can still get like really cornered into a place.
No, I understand, but I remember being a 16, 17-year-old boy, and just being a walking hard on.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like they want to...
I'm 35 and I'm still like that.
Right,
so.
but 16, 17-year-old boys, That's what they want to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to coerce a 16 or 17-year-old boy to have sex. Not that I know of, like, not that I know, but I'm just saying from my history.
Right.
So to me, it's less of an issue that way. But here's what
I wouldn't phrase it as it's less of an issue.
But
it's less traumatizing for a small section of people. I think there's a lot of kids that are like still. I remember.
There are some, right?
It's funny. So you just remind me. I remember I was friends with this kid Mac in high school, right? And then one day the kid was like 16. He had single parent home. His dad was the only one, and his dad was like, he was just like the party animal. And they lived in a trailer home over by Nomads. So like in one of those like homes.
Briny Breezes.
And he was a surfer kid, super cool dude. Like I remember like it's one of those things where like I became friends with him and I was the shelter kid and he would tell me all the shit that he was doing. So he came into class one day and he told me, he's like, bro, I got laid last night with a 27-year-old woman. I was like, hold the fuck up. What did you just say? And then like I remember like,
how old was he?
16.
Yeah.
Like 15, 16, I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man. Like, my dad had some, like, girls over last night, and they were all drinking, and then she just came into my bed, and then we started going at it. I was like, bro, like, I just, like, nutted my pants from that story, and, like, it happened. It definitely happened.
Well, here's what I was getting at, though. When it's that situation, when it's a guy, a boy, and a female teacher, and they tell their friend, it's not that they tell a lot of people. What it is they tell the friend, and the friend gets jealous.
You think so?
Yes.
I don't think the friend gets jealous as much as it's kids, and they don't know how to keep their mouth shut, and they're going to say something.
I think, well, it's a little bit of both, but what it is like, you kids just like to tell stories, but...
Everyone likes to brag.
But at the same time, a lot of this is telling their best friend, and their best friend's like, well, why didn't she ask me?
Yeah.
Well, it's probably because you're adult.
Look, at the end of the day, it's still fucking wrong. Everyone's going to agree with the fact of what we're talking about, sure, but it's still wrong. It's like an adult shouldn't be sitting there and putting a kid into that situation.
My first, I was 14. She was 19.
That's different. It's still kind of young.
It's right.
But, no, I didn't lose mine till like 21. I was trying to be a good kid. And then I realized I was an idiot. And I was
after that first one, you were like, what the hell?
I lost like 6 years of good times, but it happens. So some more bit news, because we haven't really gotten a chance to screw around too much. Big news today, actually. Did you hear?
I don't know.
Khabib's coming back.
Oh, yeah.
Khabib to fight George St. Pierre in November at Madison Square Garden.
That's going to be a big fight.
I think it's finally a good challenge for Khabib.
Yeah, because George is an incredible wrestler. At his highest, is it going to be at 170?
Let me see.
Or is George going to get down to 155?
It doesn't say. It's probably going to be a catch weight, I'm assuming.
But they were saying when George was at the height of his training, he could have made the Canadian
155
national team.
Yeah.
So yeah, George had talked about going down to 155.
I think that's going to be a heavy duty weight cut for him.
George is thickly muscled.
Yeah, but
he's changed his diet because of the diverticulitis.
Not diverticulitis. He's got something else. It might be diverticulitis.
It's either I thought it was either diverticulitis or was it IBS maybe?
No, it's not. IBS isn't going to do that to him. It's. I'm pretty sure it's diverticulitis. Either way, I think this is the best matchup to get like a real challenge. Colitis. That's what it was.
He's got colitis.
No, that's a good matchup for GSP, because if anyone's going to be able to finally break down Khabib's weaknesses and be calm enough and intelligent enough to exploit those, it's going to be GSP. I can't think of anybody else who's going to be as analytical and be able to come after him like that.
Yeah, I don't think Khabib will be able to pressure GSP like he can pressure everybody else.
Yeah.
Like I think GSP, because GSP's got that wicked jab. It's like it's that's
Well,
like
he's
one
got
of
the
his,
feints. The feints are great for him.
the feints, but it's his jabs are his tool.
Yeah.
One of his better tools, and his takedowns. George's takedowns are incredible.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, and it's
And
they're gonna have to be at the top of his game
And
to
I'd
take
venture
down.
to say GSP's got better striking.
No, GSP for sure has better striking than Khabib, for sure. But I think it's going to be a true testament of like wrestling, and I don't think that there's really anybody else, maybe, which obviously it's not going to be Ben Askren, but it's going to be a real good test for Khabib, because if Khabib beats GSP, Khabib goes down as the greatest of all time.
I'm so sick of that.
I hate that phrase too, but can
I
you
don't
really
think-
deny it?
Yeah, who's he beat?
I mean, he beat like
Who's he beat that makes him great?
MJ, he's beat Connor, he's beat he needs to fight Max.
There's no if there's one GOAT, it's John Jones.
I don't put him in that
What?
anymore, no.
He's undefeated.
Do you consider Mark McGuire GOAT in baseball
Yes.
despite the cheating?
Yes.
I don't.
Because here's the thing, what Mark McGuire did, being jacked, still doesn't. You still have to make contact with a baseball. Contact with a baseball is one
With
of these,
extra power. There's a difference between
yeah, but
let's be honest. If you and I
There's
both play baseball and I hit the baseball and you hit the baseball, you're probably going to get
you're wrong. It's power. Power isn't what makes in batting. It's not about power. It's
you
about
go-
speed.
Go tell that to King Griffey Jr.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr. was
It was awesome.
Right.
Until Mark McGuire and Sammy Sosa both came in, and Barry Bonds came in juicing to the gills, and then they started like crushing that record.
No, I understand that. I understand that but regardless of whether there's power or not, you still have to make contact.
No, I agree.
And making contact is the hardest part of baseball. So you either can or you can't. I know plenty of people that are way stronger than Mark McGuire that couldn't hit a baseball out of the
Yeah,
infield.
but baseball is like one of those sports that, which brings me to another conversation I wanted to have with you. But baseball is one of those sports that if you played it in high school and then you took some 10 years off, and then let's say at 29 you decided that you wanted to try out for the major league team, you're not going to be in the same skill level.
Well, I understand that.
The reflexes and everything have to be so far up there, and you have to be constantly working on it.
The question is how many fights was John Jones? And here's the thing, John Jones. It wasn't his. It's not John Jones' power that makes him dangerous.
No, it's his vision and the skill level and
It's
stuff.
his creativity. John Jones's creativity and his length
I think that
are what make John Jones.
Stylebender is probably gonna be more of a GOAT than John Jones.
No, there's no more of a GOAT. It's who you beat. John Jones has beat the highest level of competition.
I mean, DC and Gustafsson, and again, I'm gonna keep on saying Gustafsson after that fight was nothing. So he beat a really good Alex Gustafsson off of like no training whatsoever.
He also beat Lyoto Machida in Lyota's prime. He beat
Shogun.
Shogun. He beat Vitor.
He didn't beat Shogun on his prime. He didn't beat Vitor at his prime.
I don't know. I would venture to say
Vitor was already off the juice when they fought.
No, he was not.
Yeah.
He was juiced to the gills when he.
Let me see. I gotta bring out like that photo
when
back up.
when he fought John Jones, he was juiced to the gills.
That's when they were like testing him like 20 times a week. I remember.
Yeah. Who else is he? Like he.
I'm not saying he's not good and he's not one of the best of all time. I'm not saying he's
The
not.
only thing he doesn't have is super fights, and that's because
That's what I'm saying. But
super
like,
fights are a newer thing, and as well,
they're not a newer thing.
They're a newer
just,
thing.
The phrase is a newer thing.
No, they're a newer thing. Crossing weight classes is a trend that's happened over the last 3
Come on.
years.
I mean, look at all the old Pride fights. They're all super fights.
No, because they had different the weight,
And they're all coming from different weight divisions.
Yeah, but they didn't have as many weight divisions in Pride.
But that's what I'm saying. Those the matchups were super fights.
Right. Well, they had
Alistair Overeem against Shogun.
No, but they were the same weights, except for the only.
But those were all in their prime.
Yeah, but the thing is, what it is now is people that don't deserve to be together. Like the fact that Connor and Nate fought was ridiculous.
Twice. Yeah.
Was ridiculous. Connor was a champion. Why wasn't Connor defending his belt?
That's all different. That's all making money.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. As much as I think the super fights are awesome, at the same time that you lose focus on the true nature of MMA, which if you're going to have weight classes and you're going to have champions, then stick with that shit.
I'm not gonna have that argument about the whole UFC thing. I mean, we beat that to death. Everybody knows that it's bullshit.
It's bullshit.
Like that's not the conversation.
Talked about the rankings before,
but we're not. That's not the conversation we're having.
Right. But GSP coming in and fighting Khabib. GSP hasn't had one fight at lightweight.
Doesn't matter. It's GSP. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
I understand, but he should prove himself. Like if you want a shot at the champ, you should prove yourself in the division. You're
saying he should have one fight before he gets into.
At least one fight.
I don't disagree with it, but I think it was more like Khabib wanted that fight more than GSP. GSP just wants to make the money now and wants to test himself here and there, but I think it's really Khabib. He said he wants GSP, and then he'll do and that was gonna be his last fight or something like that. So it was really his call. That's the fight he wants. He wanted to test himself. I mean, far be it for me to disagree that that's a good test for him.
No, I'm not saying that it's not a good test.
I'm just damn bug, whatever it is.
I'm just saying that it's just a bug.
Yeah.
I just think that the super fight is getting overdone and it's overshadowing.
Well, they're doing it's stupid. They're calling everything a super fight, and it's not really a super fight. It's a super fight to me would be someone from a different organization coming in and fighting for one fight or something like that.
Well, that's cross promotion,
right? And that's something I'd rather have.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but
this bug is annoying the shit out of me, and it's getting in front of the camera.
Let it.
I don't know. I don't want it.
It's extra. It's extra for these people.
Yeah,
You're welcome. Welcome to our guest, Mothy.
I think it's Beatley. Whatever.
Anyways, super fights in jiu-jitsu, that makes sense. You find two high-ranking guys and you put them together, and that's awesome. High-ranked guys or big-name guys, you put them together, that's a super fight.
Right.
But there's like I said, there's no history there. There's nobody else waiting in the wings, waiting for their shot. It's I
think the problem that's going on right now is the fact that for the most part, number 1 to 4 or 5 is so far ahead of the pack in almost every division compared to everybody else after that. They're at such a high level in almost every division. Those 3 or 4 guys are way ahead than anybody else. It used to be that 1 through 10, everything from 1 through 10 was just straight fucking killers, and anyone at any day and time could sit there and be number 1. But now it's really 1 to 5. It's almost
it's 1 to 5 are established. Anything above 5 are either up and coming or dropping down.
But they're up and coming because the older generation is leaving. But I think part of it too is 1 through 5 is making so much more money that they're able to be the higher echelon training regiment necessary to stay up there compared to everybody else.
Did you see the Beast's new fight?
Yeah, who is he fighting? He's fighting
Junior Dos Santos.
Yeah. That's a cool one. And then he's 27 KOs versus 19 KOs or something.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The question is, are we going to get another...
My back's hurting?
No. Are we going to get a Nagano performance? Or are we going to get,
the Volkov or whatever?
Yeah, or, Well, even that one, dude, he was getting his ass kicked the whole time.
Yeah, well, it only took one.
Yeah, dude, there was 20 seconds left in the whole fight.
10.
Was it 10?
10.
Dude, and I was I was watching it.
Do you know how fucking scary that is? scary to know that someone has that much power that it only takes one shot. Like, granted, we can all sit there and say, like, all it just takes is one. But how many people out there have this ability to, like, it doesn't matter who the fuck you are.
Dan Henderson.
It takes one shot and you are out. It doesn't matter if you're a fucking concrete wall.
Dan Henderson is arguably the greatest wrestling fighter of all time.
I'm talking about like one power shot. Like
that's what I'm talking about.
The Hendo bomb.
Yeah, the H bomb.
Yeah.
Dan Henderson was a highly decorated wrestler.
Well, which fight is it? That's that one. So like, if you watch the Henderson versus Vitor fight, the one that I was at down in Sao Paulo in Brazil, that was like Gilbert's card. Like, it was so obvious to both of the guys, like both Vitor and Henderson, that they both have one shot knockout power. So the first 2-3 minutes, it was just circling. Maybe one kick was thrown, maybe one jab was thrown. That was it. And then it only took one kick from Vitor to like knock him out. So it's like, it's fucking crazy to sit there and think that.
You know what's funny? What always made me laugh was Dan Henderson, like watching him walk backstage or watching him walk around on those like the UFC countdown shows, and he walks like this crippled old man. And
he does.
But then he gets in the cage, and you know,
he moves.
It was crazy to me.
Well, it's funny for like being at the weigh-ins, like being backstage at the weigh-ins, and everybody's like shuffling feet, like sucked out and dead, and then I see Clay Guida doing jumping jacks and running like he's running sprints. Well, everybody's dead. They started pulling chairs, and people were sitting in chairs so there was like a line in the back, and they're just sitting there like dying. Clay Guida's like jumping. Remember I showed you the photo? I have him. He was like jumping. He drops his phone. He's like picks it up, starts jumping all over again. I'm like, dude, you're fucking nuts. These people are dying, and you're here nothing but energy.
I was in Chicago for Hendo Fedor. Like, I wanted to see that shit live.
That would have been a good fight to see.
It was, and Jay-Z fought on that card.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's Jay-Z. I know him, but like it was before I knew Jay-Z. You know. There was somebody else on that card that was like, it was a rad fight, and you know that was my first big MMA show. Yeah. Actually, it's been my only big MMA show.
Are you gonna go watch the Miami card?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think we should go. I might try and work it and sneak in there and get some photos and stuff.
Not anymore. Thanks for letting them know. UFC just heard you.
No, that's fine. I can get in there with the fighters and stuff. That's how I got in before. I'm not going to be able to be like a ringside like photographer or anything, but to go backstage and stuff, like, it'll be fine.
Just walk like you're supposed to be there.
I've done it so many times. You've been there. You've seen it. I did it like plenty other times.
Get one of those yellow vests.
Why?
Those yellow vests are the new wristband.
Oh, yeah. Well, the wristband will get you far in life. You'll be surprised.
And a walkie-talkie.
Oh, speaking of which, I meant to tell you that, like, what pissed me off the other day, I was watching, what was it, Rogue Squadron? What was the Star Wars movie with...
Rogue One?
Rogue One.
Which is to me, is the greatest Star Wars movie of all time.
So I was watching it. So, like, at the end, when they're sitting there and, like, trying to take down the shield, like every other Star Wars movie, it fucking blew my mind. This guy's sitting there with a walkie-talkie. I'm like, you're in the fucking future. You got spaceships that go from one end of the galaxy to the other. You have fucking lightsabers. You have laser guns. Why the fuck are you using a handheld walkie-talkie?
Because what else are you going to talk into?
You have headsets. You can even have a lapel mic where you sit there, beep, beep. We have cell phones. We don't even fucking use walkie-talkies anymore. Why the fuck is he using a walkie-talkie? He's using this little fucking dollar store walkie-talkie. It looked like this. He's like, is the shield down yet?
Well, do you remember what the guy on the ship had like a wire microphone that he was talking into?
Right, at least like Han Solo had like the little like flashlight looking thing. It was like a little stick. Like, that's cool, whatever, that's different. But to have a legitimate dollar store walkie-talkie like it came with the Army men, you're like, come on, man. Now you're just fucking with me. Like, stop.
One of my favorite scenes of Star Wars, the original, was Han Solo talking on the radio when they were dressed up as the stormtroopers. No, everything's fine here.
We're good.
We're good.
How are you? Well, that's what you see when they make fun of it in Family Guy. When they did, Blue Harvest.
Blue Harvest.
Yeah, do you see that part? He's like, Peter just starts like like an NPR radio show. He's like, and we'll be playing right back, and then someone calls in, and he's like pretending to be like a love doctor. It's fucking that's exactly how I pictured the scene.
And
actually
didn't they do the stormtrooper hitting his head too?
Yeah.
That's so funny. Like I never caught that as a kid.
Did you?
No.
Yeah, but when you're a kid, you're so sucked into the story.
Sucked into the story, man.
Like you don't even realize like at the end when they do the whole fanfare and they're giving them the medals. Like if you watch the interviews, they say that all the people in there, you can hear the people talk. The extras that are standing there, they're saying this movie's gonna fucking tank. I can't believe we're getting paid for this bullshit. This movie's gonna suck. Like they were saying how they could hear the people talk while they were doing the whole walking like scene. It's like, congratulations, you were wrong. So it's
have you seen? Well, there's a scene like on the internet of the end without the soundtrack.
no.
Yes, it's awesome. All you hear are their footsteps.
Like a gag like video, you mean?
No, I don't think it's a gag. I think it's actual footage of that scene.
Right.
And everybody's silent. And you could just hear like rustling.
Right.
And the footsteps of them walking up to the podium. And like Peter Mayhew like opens his mouth to do Chewbacca, and he makes a noise. It's like,
yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I think I've seen that like a long time ago.
And I don't know if it's real or fake.
I think it's fake because either way, whenever you do like sound design and stuff, whenever they're filming that kind of stuff, you're not gonna hear the footsteps. You're never really gonna hear the footsteps. Those are always added after the fact. If you pay attention to the movie, like you hear them. Like
right. But
like,
but again, I think this one. I don't know. I think, but before we get out of here, because I think it's time to
we're getting there. Yeah,
getting there. I have a new guilty pleasure. It's on. It was a show on Crave, but it's on Comedy Central now. Letterkenny.
You dummy! That's the one that I was telling you about watching like a bunch of times. That was the show that I was telling you to watch.
Oh, that's the one?
Yeah, it's the fucking show. You dumbass.
I don't remember the one I didn't.
Yeah.
Dude, what happened was, and I'll tell you what happened. Months ago, I had seen the steak scene.
The one that I showed you.
No,
right?
No, I saw it before that.
Right.
I saw it before that. No, it might have been. You might have sent it to
you.
Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious. And then, I don't know how I came across it.
Yeah.
But, it was on Reddit.
Yeah.
They had the cold open
of
the one where the two hockey guys show up and they're sitting by the produce cart.
Yeah.
And the guys, oh my God, I started dying laughing.
I told you. How far did you get?
Well, I haven't watched any seasons. I've just gone through the highlights of stuff.
Dude, you have to watch it.
And
the first season's a little like tough at first, but it gets so good.
Did you see that? Have you seen the part where Squirrely Dan talking about sex?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like his finger in the butt or something.
In the butts holes.
Yeah.
She thinks my butts holes need some attention.
Yeah. No, you have to watch it. It's so good.
And they were all three playing catch, and as soon as he said that,
the
other two
they just started playing catch with each other.
They took him out.
So for you guys listening at home, the show's called Letterkenny. You need to watch it.
And the guy that plays like the guy that always wears the plaid, the deadpan guy, he's the writer.
Yeah,
Wayne. He's the writer.
So now
creator.
The guy that plays the pastor.
I haven't seen the pastor.
Okay, so there's the pastor. Like you'll see in the first couple episodes, he's like the really nerdy guy with glasses. He's the one that wrote Twister, the movie Twister.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's like one of the characters on there. No, you have to watch it. Like the first 2 seasons are fucking great, and then like you can tell they got even better. But it's a fucking great show.
Trailer Park Boys meets
like a Kevin Smith movie.
Yeah. That's a great kind of.
I fucking love it. It's super quick, and then when they get into like the hockey talk, did you see that part?
No.
So the premise is like it's basically Canadian rednecks. So there's the farmer group, which is like Wayne and the other guys, and then there's the hockey guys. There's like the hockey clique, and they have like a whole hockey talk situation. And then there's the goth kids that are all meth heads. So they have
which I think is them just dressed up.
No. They're totally separate people.
Really?
Yeah. And then you have I think her name's Gail, and she's the one that runs the bar. That's fucking hilarious. When you wait until you get into her scenes, it's great. And then you have, what else do you have? Oh, then you have like all the other like redneck like farmer guys. It's a great show. It's a great fucking show. Like
Wayne's sister is dating the hockey guy.
yeah, she's super hot. Like you have no idea how hot she gets until like they start getting like deeper into like
she's
the
almost
show.
like Daisy Duke.
Yeah.
Like that's like
she's super smoking hot, like the further they get into it. And they have, it's funny because they make it like super sexual, but I like the fact that they insinuate it instead of actually like being blatant about it.
the one line that made me die was CrossFit, and Wayne goes, "You could cross fuck off."
Yeah.
It's just the whole thing just like it just like hit me,
Oh,
and I started going down the whole like doing bests of.
Yeah. Well, the Instagram, they always put like clips and stuff on there. So no, you have to watch the show.
Yeah,
like,
and I'm like I love these guys.
oh no, it's a great show. Like I've been watching it nonstop, catching up all the seasons.
Because Trailer Park Boys is one of my favorite things. Of
No,
all
it's
time.
a great show. The difference is like Trailer Park Boys, like you can be mellow and watching it because it's like not blatant. They're like the jokes.
Well, you know it's
silly.
It's silly.
But with this one, you have to really pay attention because they get like super quick on the conversations.
Oh
like,
man, the comebacks that they have, well, obviously it's scripted, but it's like
yeah. Well, there's like they do a scene where like they're always outside drinking, so then like Wayne goes and he's like, just pours out the beer. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I think you have a problem." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "That's alcohol abuse," and he's like, "Well, like in all fairness," he's like, "To be fair," he's like, the last 20% of your drink is always nothing but spit. He's like, "Oh, don't say that. It's disgusting." It's true. And they just get into a whole argument about it, which I agree with. I don't.
There's a lot of things like pump the brakes.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes.
One. It's like.
And then the other one is not to be impolite.
Yeah. No, they have tons of like running gags like that. So for one, it's like to be fair, like they'll have that for the whole season, and then they do another one where it's like, what was the other? Oh, like. How they always say hi to each other. He's like, "How are you?" He's like, "Oh, not so bad." And you like, and it goes like that over and over again. So anytime someone says something like, "How are you?" I'm like, "Oh, not so bad." Like, it's a good show. It's fun to watch. It's definitely not going to be everybody's humor, but if you like Trailer Park Boys or like a Kevin Smith movie, you're definitely going to like it.
It's actually, as stupid as it is, it's smart humor.
No, you have to pay attention.
You have to be cerebral. A little more cerebral than most people.
Well, you have to like really, really listen in too because they do a good job of being Canadian rednecks.
Yes.
But no, that show is fucking great. Yeah, I definitely suggest you watch it. You dummy, that's the one I've been telling you for like 3 months to watch. I literally can show you the text like, "Bro, you need to watch this show." Like, I've been telling everybody about it. It'll be good. I think it's going to blow up even more. But it's out of Canada.
Especially when everybody gets a hold of it after hearing it on Jujitsu Radio.
Well, I've been telling people about it. It's fucking great. It's a good show. I gotta go watch some of the new ones. There's a couple of seasons. I want to say it's like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's, you know what? It's funny too because it's not sketch, but it's kind of sketch.
It's kind of sketch.
Yeah,
like the whole grill thing, the whole grill scene.
Yeah,
like it's like, let's split the difference.
Oh,
No S&P, grill 2 minutes on each side.
It's like, yeah, it's like you're fucking up, bud.
Or when they're talking about putting malt vinegar on their fries. You know, in America, they don't malt vinegar isn't a condiment. It's not on like it's just the way they say everything.
No, it's pretty funny. Like Dale is like the drunk fighter, and whenever he gets like drunk, he gets into like massive fights. They're like, "You were a fucking legend last night." He's like, "No, I wasn't." He's like, "Oh, you fucked up everybody." He's like, "What?" No, it's like, "Oh yeah, bud."
I don't know which one Dale is. Is he the bald one?
He's the one in the jumpsuit.
Oh, the one that's always wearing the
the one piece suit.
overalls.
No, but yeah, definitely check out that show if you guys check it out. I think that's pretty much it. Honestly, it was a good week. I got a ton of work coming up. You got a new gig coming up.
We got a new gig.
I got a bunch of stuff. We did a photo shoot the other day for Gilbert with Tatami.
Yep.
So those photos will be coming out in
what
the
about
next
our
couple
photos?
of
Did
days.
you take a look at ours?
Yeah, I've been editing them, so they came out pretty good.
Are they fun? Or
Yeah, no, they're pretty funny. We got like a couple of good ones. I definitely have some more ideas for our next photo shoot for sure. Make sure you guys follow us on Jujitsu Radio, and obviously
I think we should do a Zach and Mary
what the fuck is
making
that?
porn the Kevin Smith movie, Zack and Mary.
I never watched that.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But they do. They're making a porn based on Star Wars. They call it Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
we're not making porn. Just letting you know.
Well, they were in the movie.
All right, but you said we should.
No, we're not going to make a porn. But they did a video shoot as the characters.
Right.
Like Han Solo and Bend Over Kenobi. But like their lightsabers were
giant dildos.
Giant dildos. Like it was just awesome.
I never watched that movie.
We should have a dildo fight.
No, we're good.
Loser takes it.
You got to go buy one.
Loser takes. No, you got to buy two.
No, you're gonna buy it by yourself.
How can we have a dildo fight if there's only one dildo?
That's the best. Like, you ever see the video of the kid just walking out of the house and his friend just cracks him in the face?
Right in the face, and then he
like
rolls
6 foot dildo.
and then he gets mad and then he gets rolled up and he's bent over. He's ramming it in his butt.
Those are good times.
Oh, that's a good friend.
That's a good friend. That's when you know you're having good. Speaking of which, our buddy's coming into town
Tom's
next week.
coming in. Are you doing dinner Thursday night?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to get him on the podcast. Wait, this Thursday?
Yeah, it's 2 nights from now.
Oh shit. When's Garlic Fest?
This weekend.
Shut up. Is it this weekend?
Yeah.
Fuck. You want to go see Mighty Mighty Boss Stones? Really? Am I the only one that fucking likes Mighty Mighty Boss Stones?
I used to love them. I've seen them like 6 times. I just don't know if I want to go.
I'm gonna go. Fuck it. I'm going by myself.
Steel Pulses is playing Friday night.
I gotta watch them too. I gotta get a photo pass. I'm just gonna go start taking photos. Man, I can't believe I'm the only one that fucking still likes Mighty Mighty Boss Stones. I fucking love that band.
And they come out with some new stuff that's not bad.
Yeah, but man,
But
I
I've been
haven't
listening
been down
to,
here
like
in
I
years.
said, I've been listening to a lot of like I played you that one lady, Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. But it's like I'm on a 60 soul and country because I've been listening to that and I've been listening to Shooter Jennings.
Oh man, I've been fucking going down like an old school country hole with I had like a bunch of Elvis, Waylon Jennings, like a ton of stuff. Speaking of Willie Nelson's coming, you don't want to go to Willie Nelson, right?
Not really.
Man, fuck. I'm the only one here with good taste in fucking music. You ever heard Willie Nelson's reggae album?
No.
Fucking up. It's one of the best albums you'll ever hear. It's such a good reggae album.
What's it called?
I forget what it is. But yeah, it came out like years and years ago. It came out like 10 years ago. If not, you can always hear the song I'll Never Smoke Weed with Willie Again. You ever heard that?
No.
That's a fucking hilarious song. You gotta listen to that. But that's it for us, guys. Everybody, please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Share it with your friends. Check out our sponsors, Choke Aloha, Jiu-Jitsu Soap Co., Giraffe Choke, and Nomad. Be sure to follow Shawn at Gorilla Boy BJJ. Follow Jiu-Jitsu Radio and Sonder Marketing on Instagram. And like I said, if you want to buy this cool shirt that I got here, my
that shirt?
My Endless Roll shirt.
That shirt?
The original one, not the rip-off one.
Not the Choke Republic. I like giving them a
Stop
shout
giving
out
a free cap.
because
Fuck them.
If they buy their shirt instead of your shirt, it'll make you angrier.
Yeah,
and that makes me laugh.
Fucking assholes. Anyway, thanks everyone.